Hi, my name is Lara Kudaisi. I help people heal from emotional pain, trauma, childhood dysfunctions for a happily ever after. My story in a nutshell is that I healed from having a child at 19, 14 heartbreaks, 15 abortions, and a divorce. I have created a program titled How They Heal. I forgot the name of my own program. How They Heal, Dini, you know, how we are, exactly, I said it in the morning, you know, how they heal. So I just want you to share with us in a nutshell, you know.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yes, ma'am.
And I want to appreciate all those who have spoken before us, the other sessions. Thank you for those who have waited up until this time. 2013, the very last couple of days, I met someone. Now, in 2013, please note that I was 47. 47, yes. I think my maths is correct. So I met someone, and then we started the journey in 2014. So we went through 2014, and then 2015, we started planning the wedding. So everything was ready. Wedding dress, wedding suit. Is that what they wear? Suit. Bridesmaid, by force bridesmaid, because I didn't want drama. I just wanted something simple. But there were all these people that were like, no, we must follow you. So I said, okay, sort yourselves out. So the date was the 24th of March was the traditional, and the 26th of March was the white wedding. So on Monday, which was the 23rd, we were together in church, in my church. He was not a member of my church. So we were in church together, we prayed together, and then we said bye-bye. So I went home. I woke up on Tuesday morning, and immediately I opened my eyes. I knew something was wrong. There was this weight that was not there the day before. So I prayed, I had my bath, and then I switched on my phone about 7 a.m. And I saw a text message and a WhatsApp message, the same message. I'm sorry, I will not be able to go through with the wedding. Somebody said, wow. I will not be able to go through with the wedding. So I said, okay, this is very interesting. So I had a car. I just picked my bag and I entered the car. I was living in Ojodu then, and I drove from my house straight to church. I got to church, I parked the car, and people started saying, oh, congratulations, congratulations. I was like, thank you, thank you. And I went straight to the altar and I just lay down. I couldn't talk, I couldn't cry, I could not do anything. I just lay there. I don't know how long. And then I said, God, I don't know what you are doing, but I receive grace and wisdom to navigate my way through this. So when I stood up from the altar, I called my pastor. And she said, Sarah, so I smiled. I said, okay, ma. So I waited for a while. She didn't call. And I sent her a very long text message explaining the matters arising. Immediately she saw the text, she called, Sarah, kilo shele, what happened? I said, ma, I don't know. And in her usual way, she spoke to me, and she will always give you a perspective. She said, Sarah, thank God that you were not dressed and in church, and everybody was there, and he didn't show up. I said, this woman, how does she see these things? So the printer that printed the programs was calling me for his money. So I drove to the bank on Okwebi Road to go and make a transfer to the printer. And then my boss, I was working in an office there, so my boss called me and said, Sarah, I'm dressed. She said she wasn't going to come for the traditional. So she said, I've changed my mind. So I kept quiet. She said, where are you? I said, in the bank. She said, you are not there. I said, no. She said, what happened? I said, he said he's not doing it again. I've never heard that woman use swear language before, but she used a swear language that day. And she dropped the phone and said, I'll call you back. So apparently she called him and gave him stories. So she said, don't move, that I should stay in the bank. She was going to send her driver to come and drive me. I said, what's wrong with this man? Maybe I drove myself to all this place. Why is she? But she said, don't move, just stay there. So the driver came and drove me to the office, and then she kept me there most of the day. So he didn't leave immediately. He was still around because it was like the wedding is postponed. So on Wednesday, they were calling us from church to come for rehearsals.
When was the day of the traditional wedding?
Tuesday. The white was Thursday. Yes.
So Tuesday passed.
Yeah, Tuesday didn't pass. It just like
going.
It was just going.
Yes, but the text message. I'm sorry to keep bringing you back. The text message. Did it talk about postponing, or that is calling off the wedding?
No, he said postponement. That was what he said. Okay. Postponement.
Okay. So did you try to reach him or anything?
He didn't disappear. He was very much around.
Okay.
The next day they were calling us from church, so I called him that we have to go to church to go and. My pastor called and now said we should go to church and officially inform them that the wedding has been postponed.
Okay.
So he met me up in church.
Okay.
So, but I got to church before him, and all the other pastors, the smoke was coming out of their
nose.
Fire from their nostrils. I said, just come, please don't swallow him up. Just allow him, So he came. So back to Tuesday, I had to call my brother. I said, where are you? He said he had gone to pick my uncle from Orile, and then my uncle was 80 then and a bit frail. I said, don't pick him. The wedding is called off. Don't pick him. Don't tell him anything. Just find a way. So after stalling and leaving my uncle, he had to go to the venue for the traditional and go and meet people and just kind of explain to them. So there's this woman who is like a mommy to me. So she was sending me text messages that, my pikin, what's happened now? I don't come. You don't hear. Nothing happen. You don't tell me. I just laugh. I said, this woman doesn't know what's going on. So please note that in 2015, I was 49.
Yes.
49. So Wednesday we went to church. 2 years.
2 years courtship.
Well, not even up to 2 years. It was the end of 2013. So it was the whole of 2014 and 2015. So I now went to church. So he told them postponement. He now told them that July.
But what was it telling you, though?
Well, we hadn't seen now. Because that Tuesday, of course, I didn't want to see him.
Okay.
But Wednesday, that was the first time we're seeing him was when we met in church on Wednesday.
Okay.
To tell them that the wedding had been postponed. So he now told the head of the associate pastors that July. Because he was pressing him that, okay, so what's the new date? What's the new plan? He now said July. Specific date in July. He said he will get back to them. Now, all the other pastors, associate pastors, were like, okay. But there was this particular one. He kept saying, this person is too calm. This person is too calm. That the only person who is troubled in all of this is our sister. This person is way too calm for what has happened. So the other said, maybe it's just covering up, So Thursday, the day of the wedding, people came from all over. I have a sister, a friend, an Aburu that came all the way from Abuja. People came from all over. So on Thursday, there was a lot of hullabaloo in church because people came for the wedding. A friend of mine had made preparations for 500 people. I said I didn't want a reception, so they were going to do, I said I wanted parts. They should do bags. So as you're going, so she had made preparation for 500 people. And I'm not exaggerating because she asked me. And I said 500 people. So when I look back, I am able to say that the wedding being cancelled and the man disappearing are two separate events. And God saw that I couldn't handle both of them together. So he kept the man, just hanging around till about September, October that year.
The wedding was supposed to have held
in March.
In March.
So July came and went, and of course, August came and went. So he started easing out gradually. So 1 week, he will not pick calls. He will not respond to messages. So one day I woke up in September and I said to myself in Yoruba, she won't say any, then do you? And I said, you're bigger than this now. And I just stopped communicating. And of course, he had already stopped too. So September 2015, that was it. Now, my birthday in 2016, I turned 50. So on 12 midnight, when you cross over till the day, I saw a text. A text appeared in my phone. It was not the numbers he was using before. It was a new number. But the style of writing, I knew it was him. So I looked at the message, I just smiled. And 60 seconds later, he sends the same message again and now writes his name.
Okay.
And I replied, I said, I know it is you. I know the way you write. So I now say, well, I'm celebrating my birthday. You are free to come. I knew he wouldn't come. He dare not show his face. Yeah. So, last year was 2019.
19. That's how many years after?
So 2019 will be 16, 17, 18, 19, 4 years.
4 years after.
4 years. That wasn't last year. I think it was 2018.
Okay.
Now, the wedding dress that I was going to use was made by a friend of mine. And I told her to sell it, burn it, throw it away, whatever. And I found out that 3 years later, that wedding dress was still hanging in her house. So one day I said to her that I needed the dress because it was like the thing was still hanging. So she sent someone to bring it to me in church, and I just opened the boot of the car and threw it in there. So when I got home, I opened the boot and I opened the dress and I burst out crying.
3 years after. That was the first time.
And I think that we
feeling and dealing with.
I just burst out. And I was like, you're still here? And I said, no, you can't be here. So I kept the dress in the boot until I passed it on to someone to get rid of it. I don't know what the person has done with it. But that was, to date, that will be the worst experience I've ever had in my entire life. Now, you must understand that this shame was public shame because I'm very well known in my church.
Yes.
And people came from all over. So, but in the midst of it, there were a lot of ladies in who they call mature single. I so hate that word mature single. But there were ladies who were advanced in age, not as old as I am. And they were so excited. Their faith had been jump-started, And so in the midst of my pain, I just kept saying, Lord, they cannot go back to the state of hopelessness they were in before this miracle, before this whole thing started. That I need you to keep their faith up and to know that God is still in the business of working miracles. So I thought, my predominant thought then was, there was this voice that kept telling me, because I had a car and it was brand new, just sell your car, throw away your SIM, and run away. So I kept asking, run away to where now? Where am I going? Where will I go? Because I've been to so many places in Nigeria and people recognize me. So where would I possibly go to? And so I didn't know I could come out again and face people. I thought I would just die of shame inside somewhere. But here I am today. To the glory of God.
Wow. See, I've been, now my story that me, I'll be saying, I have 14 years break, but it's all those ones, they are just small water. When you get, this is pain, raw pain. You understand? And don't worry, we're coming to the different layers, I have questions for you, zillion, because you still told him to come for the birthday. Like, where did the inner way come from? The goodness of the heart. It's like people who I'm having today, they're very good people, though. Like, I want to have your heart when I grow up, I've not grown up yet. So I'm coming to you. So Maryann, I know your story is evident. You understand? It's obvious. We can see it physically, and I've watched you on Instagram. Of course, I've spoken with you. We've been at a program together, and I've heard you share it. So I kind of understand that some people really know it, but I'm more concerned, about the psychological effects, of AVM. So just in, summary, just share with us, your AVM journey and how it affected you. She's going to tell us what is AVM.
AVM means arteries and veins malformation.
Arteries and veins malformation. Okay.
So because we have arteries and we have
veins in our body.
Mine are kind of twisted or probably meeting where they're not supposed to meet. It's just like two wrong wires
connecting. Wow.
So then you start having difficulties. So at first I didn't know anything about AVM. I've never heard of it. It's something new. So I got to know I had AVM 2014. But 2013 I had like symptoms of like a whitlow on my index finger. At first, we didn't take it serious. We just saw it as one tiny thing. But with time, it came to late 2013, then 2014, it started like with full force. So we were forced to go to the hospital with my parents. So when I knew it was serious was when we went for scan. My mom gave me she gave me like 10,000. Go and run the scan. It shouldn't be more than maybe 5,000 or 6,000. So when they gave me the costing and it was 180,000. Oh. At first I was like, I counted the zeros like, please ma, is it 18,000 or how much? I was like, no, it's 180. I cried like, Jesus. So I took the costing back to my parents. My mom was like, this is far serious than we all thought. So somehow we had to run around, so we did the scan. So it showed that I had this AVM. When the results, it took time because they had to send the results, my scans to their Indian center. So those ones had to go through it and give a proper finding of what was wrong. So when the result came out like a month or 2 months after. Then when it came, I saw it and I was like, I started reading AVM and I started crying because they said, okay, you're going to bleed to death. It would never heal. It doesn't have any cure and all that. I was like, why would I be with something that doesn't have any cure? But then, so and now later I went to the hospital. Then doctors now told us that, okay, for now there's no cure. They just try to correct. And if it's not correct, they just cut off that part. If it's cut, there are some people, they have AVMs around their head and that's not something you can cut off. You can't cut off their head. They have one on their nose, their legs, and also it's very rare, so it's not something you see all the time. So, but mine was a bit better because it was just from my heart straight to my hand. So
heart to your hand.
Yes. So we started the journey of correction. So I did the first surgery with this very big hope, like, okay, after this I'll be fine and all. After the journey, they started cutting me everywhere. I was now like a test lab to them because it was not something they see all the time. So they too wanted to do the findings, so at least they'll gain recognition. Like, okay, we solved this particular thing. So I did the first surgery. It failed. Immediately I came out from the test, I knew because there's this feeling I do get, like it feels as if my hand is vibrating. Like you cannot grab me like this. You grabbing me, you feel it. Like it's always shaking and very hot, very hot. Even at times, you can even pour water and you see smoke coming out for real, no jokes. for real. So
Wow.
we're all just like, okay, let them just solve it. No problem. Whatever they want to do, we're all bent on, let's just solve the problem. When we did the first surgery, I still felt that thing that when I came back, I was like, I told my mommy, this thing still there. I was like, no, believe it's gone. But I knew it was still there. So we just rally around. The doctors, when they came, they too were like, ah. So when I had to go through another scan again, the same scan, so they now said I had like, it's like a very wild, like it's all over my hand. So it's not like in one particular place. So if you attack this area, it just jump to another place. I had like the tide. If I should run any scan, you see pins. They've pinned my veins. Like you just see pins inside the scan. So those were the places they pinned. So they were just tying, attaching it, like they're trying to detach and
the
arrange
vein from the arteries.
Yes. So after that one, so we were like, okay, the next year, I was like, okay, because it has to do with money though, because we spent a lot for the first surgery. Like, okay, let's just rally around and do it. At least she's going to get better after this. Because then I started bleeding. There was a day I bled at home and I was brushing my teeth. I just saw something just flying around. I didn't know I was bleeding because it's not as if when you're bleeding, it aches you. No, it's after the bleeding, that's when you start feeling pain. But that moment, you will not feel. I just saw something. I was brushing with the same hand. I just saw something. I was like, what is this?
Blood flying.
Blood. It was blood. I was like, so, yes. Because it has to do with veins. So it was coming like a running tap. Yes. So that was my. Luckily, I was actually alone that day. Luckily, my dad came. He forgot his keys. So luckily, he came back and he saw me. And then that was the first time I bled. So I was shocked. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I should cover or if I should tie. So, and I was just shouting, but there was nobody at home. So luckily he came and saw me and I was already losing strength and already passing out. So he just quickly rushed me to the hospital. So that was when the whole scan thing started. So when I did the first surgery, it wasn't successful. I had to wait like a year. So during the year, those few months in 2014 to 2015, I had to start hiding my hand. Because now I had a very big hole in my index finger, which I cannot expose. The wound would never, like they said, even I've tried, it wouldn't heal. And aside, during those times of waiting, just waiting for it to heal, as normal, we went to other places. I tried Harbour. People would tell you, go to this place. I went as far as Cotonou.
Wow.
Yes, I went as far as, those are things I don't really want to hear. So I went as far as Cotonou. I did this. I drank a lot of concoction, drink for reals, a lot of things. I was just like, okay, I was just encouraging myself, like, okay, it's just for me to get better. Each time they give me those things, there was one very painful one they did. The man just poured some kind of hot or so on a very open wound. And I cried that day. I was just each time I would just encourage myself, okay, it's just for you to get better, just for you to get better. My parents were like, just endure. But it covered up. It's just as if you're trying to bury something, but that's
thing still keeps shooting.
So after a month, it covered up like as if it was going. So the man was like, I told you it was going to go. After a month, it came back like it just burst open like. Normally, it would just come with one tiny hole. This one, it came with like full big hole. So, 2015, I said, okay, I was going to go to the hospital and I now started this process of hospital again. So, I had the second surgery with the hope, okay, they assured me then, because they had to go through with one other doctor in Ibadan. So, they had to come very big specialist that specializes with things like this. So we had to pay them a very huge amount for them because they had to put a camera inside my arm from this area so that they could get the exact place where to work from. There's a way they do it with catheter. I don't know if any medical person did. So they insert that and they had to check it. So that was when it was like, okay, let's do it. Sure, you're going to be fine. After that one was, then the third stage, my hand was already gone. Like half part of my hand was very dark, or it was looking like I can't even show it out. I started covering my hand with a hanky. If I'm going out, I'll just put my hand at the back. I don't shake hands. I don't do anything. So,
and it was your right hand.
It was my right hand. So even in school, because I was attending in Nigerian Institute of Journalism then. So, but I was this very quiet person. I don't associate because I don't want people to get close to me and start asking me what's wrong with your hand. So immediately we just finished with class, I'll just go home straight. So after I did my third surgery. After the third surgery, they now
You did
advised.
3 surgeries.
Yes.
Third one.
Yes, they now advised I go for mini amputation. That was to remove the part
finger.
that was bad. So they cut half of my hand, like half away.
Like here.
Yes. They removed that part. So after that one, it became really bad again. Really, really bad. Like the sight was terrible. Like you cannot even change the bandage. Immediately you open blood. It was more of a bloody thing. It was just a bloody thing. So I went home. Okay. So after then, they now told us that the only way was a total amputation from here. When my dad heard that, I was like, no, we're not going to do that. Everybody cried and all. Me, I was like, no, I cannot lose my arm after all this whole surgery. And now, no, I was like, so what really pushed me to go out and talk about this, like I had this, I was dating somebody, and right there after, like, I now told him the whole procedures. Then he was like, okay. It wasn't even encouraging. You know, when you're sick, sometimes you need people to encourage you, to, even if it's your boyfriend, like talk to you, call me often, then you feel more relaxed and all.
Yes.
He wasn't, at the time he was like distancing himself from me.
Yeah.
So like, I think 4 or 5 days after surgery, he called me and said, I don't see myself marrying an amputee. Whoa. I'm being serious. So that was when I felt really bad. I cried. I've never cried that way in my entire life. Sorry. So I cried so hard that night. I cried. I've never written. I would snap pictures, but you would not tell I had issues with my hand because I was always careful with positioning myself this way. So that day I went on Instagram. I don't have followers. I think I had like 10 or 15 followers. I'm not really a social media person then. So I just wanted to, I wanted to talk to somebody. I wanted to let it all out. I wanted to just tell out my problem. I wanted to just speak out. So if that was the first time I wrote about this, and I wrote it all on Instagram. Not with the help, I wasn't thinking that someone was going to see it or
do anything.
I just wanted to let it all out. So I wrote it there, and I was feeling bad because then my friends were always running around, because of me, looking for money and all. So the next day, people started calling me, Mary, I saw you on Instablog. Mary, I saw you on Instablog. I was like, Jesus, people don't see this thing, oh God, because I was kind of hiding it. I just wanted to let it all out that particular day. So my friends, they knew, some people didn't know I had issues like this. So people started calling me. So that was how, with the help of so many Nigerians, I was given lots of money donated, and I went to India for surgery.
This was what year? Sorry, madam.
This was 2017.
Okay.
I talked about it on Instagram late 2016.
Okay.
And 2017 I went to India for surgery.
Okay.
So I went to before I left Nigeria, I was supposed to go with my parents, but with one thing or the other, they said I couldn't go with anybody. I should go alone, and if I cannot go alone, then I shouldn't bother going. So I was like, okay, let me just go. So I left Nigeria. I went, going there for surgery. Only you. It's not as if you have anybody, just me and my God. So I went, and I stayed in India for 3 months. Those 3 months were very terrible months because I had to do a lot on my own. You don't stay in the hospital fully. Depends on your case, though. I didn't stay in the hospital fully. At times, after surgery, because I had a 3-stage surgery in India. So after surgery, they just take you back to your hotel room. So imagine me cooking for myself, bathing myself, doing everything. There's one testimony I've never shared. One day, my hands were really bad, and the doctors were complaining that I was not eating fine because I didn't like their Indian food. I was not comfortable with that food. I was even ready to starve until I lived there. So that day, the doctors now, they opened my hand. I was like, your hand is lacking some kinds of things. You need to eat this, you need to do that. And I was like, I can't eat their food. They're like, okay, go to that there's an African market, and I didn't have money with me. They have spent everything I had with me. So I just said, okay, I had like, I don't know, I can't remember the money. I had some few money with me. So I was like, okay, let me just go. Anything I get, if it's rice, I'll just get and some Maggi, because they don't have
all our
spices. They just have all those their spices, and it smells somehow. I took keke, and I would in Nigeria. Keke man was just talking to me. He's an Indian man. Was like, you Indian? You Nigerian? I was like, yes. But all he was saying was not with me. I was just take me to where I want to go. I want to go and buy something. The man was like, okay, see, I have plenty Nigerian food. I give you. I was like, you give me. I was thinking probably it was bombos. So it was like, I take me African market. I said, no, I give you this. And I took those things. I went to my room. I opened it. I saw rice, beans, red oil, crayfish. I'm telling you. Wow. I'm telling you. Immediately I opened it, I started crying. Because it was everything I needed. Both Gary, everything. Indomie, so many things. So the man was telling me that he took some people to the airport that they were leaving, so they gave it to him. So he doesn't know how to eat those things, and he wanted to throw them away. That's why he was asking me if I was a Nigerian, and he gave me everything. I used those things till I left that place. I was managing. So coming after the surgery with high hopes, because the last stage surgery was when they inserted my hand inside my stomach. I have that very graphic picture on Instagram. So after that stage, they detached, and I stayed for a while, and I came back home. 2018 became terrible. It came back with another force. Like this one, it just opened another hole entirely, and I started bleeding. Seriously, it became worse that if I should just place my hand, blood. If I should keep my hand, blood. So I now became drug addicted. Even before then, I became drug addicted because I could not stay without drugs. I could not stay. Even sometimes I try to remember those days, and like, wow, God is so wonderful.
Yeah.
So I came back home, and it was terrible. And I just looked at it. I was like, there's no need. Even the fingers became very stiff. I could not move the remaining fingers. So I was like, there's no need keeping this thing because I cannot even walk around with it. That way people will keep staring. So I told my parents I wanted to go for a total amputation. Like I was thinking it was going to be from here. So my dad was like, no, I happen to be the only girl. So he was like, no, how would I have it? Don't have it one. And what would I say? Who's going to marry you? This, that.
Marry.
I was like, no. My dad cried, but my mom was like, so far say my pikin dey alive for me, anyone. So I went and I started the journey of getting a very good doctor, because it's not about just cutting. It's about correcting, so that in case there's anything, there's a way you know how to. So I remembered when I was doing my surgery, I started bleeding, and I was about to, as in they've is this a date or so?
Yes, they said you.
Yes, so and I saw that they were shouting, okay, this case, listen. Had it been they were not experienced doctors, or probably it was just a total amputation thing, and I started bleeding, they won't know what to do, because it has to do with, it's not just cutting the arm away, it's about correcting or probably finding a way to arrange them, cut off. So, and when I told my parents, when I got to the hospital too, that day, when I got to the hospital, I was bleeding. The doctor was like, it's an amputation. I was like, so like, are you sure you want an amputation? Like, I want an amputation. We will cut it, no man will marry you, you will not be fine again. Oh,
Doctor.
He was just
medical
jokingly
doctor.
saying this.
The options.
So I was like,
in a very harsh way.
Yes. I wanted an amputation. So that moment, they just had to stitch that part because they were on holiday. It was during Christmas. So they just had to stitch because I had a very big open wound. So they had to stitch like 3 places on my palm so that to at least keep me safe till they resume. And when they resumed, I had that very successful amputation surgery.
Wow. Maryann, just wait. I'm still coming back to. These stories are. Oh my God. You know, I'm just remembering what Grace said earlier, that pain is part of life in different forms. Look at her sharing her own different form. Look at her, another angle. And we're about to hear another one totally. When I saw your own transformation, I'm like, it's not true. What's going on? Like, what happened? You know, so I searched, I watched all your videos, I will Google your name. I want to know what happened, what necessitated it, how did it happen, what... Like, I watched you then when you were that big, and, you know, I'll be like, how does she move? But I like her, she's very funny, so me, I'll just be laughing. But in my mind, I'm just, because I'm like that, I'm always putting myself like, how do they, you know, move? How does she feel? You know, so let's start from there. Wow.
After listening to Pastor Sarah and Maryann, I really don't think I have anything to say.
Oh, yeah. No, I know that feeling.
Because sometimes you feel that your pain is so deep. You feel that you have suffered. And then you hear somebody else's story and you almost want to stand up and go to a corner and kneel down and say, thank you, Lord,
Jesus.
thank you, Lord, thank you, Lord. And I mean, I've been sick for 6 months on the deathbed, and in that 6 months, I thought the world had come to an end. And I'm listening to someone who went through this year after year, and I don't even know what. You can't even say sorry.
Abi.
I mean, all the way from Nigeria to India. And the problem didn't go. It was not in Nigeria that it was solved. You know, at a point she was talking, I just wanted to say, you guys, can we just stop and lift up our hands
and worship? Yes.
You know, but that's actually how I feel, and I celebrate both of you. You're strong people.
Yes.
You're
Thank
strong
you.
people.
Thank you. Wow.
I was a very skinny girl until I was about 13.
Wow.
And then I started putting on weight. I was in the boarding school, Federal Government College, Idwani, and then I couldn't cope in boarding school for some reason. It wasn't academic. I just wasn't a boarding school kind of child. And so I begged, and then they brought me back home. By the time, after Form 1, I had done admission to Nigerian Navy Secondary School. They gave me an admission to resume in school. Then I saw somebody else that got admission to go to Idwani, and I felt, oh, it won't be so bad again now. I was lonely before. That's why I didn't survive that year. Now that I've seen somebody else that is going, I will follow this person. And now it will be easier. So I insisted I was going back to Idwani. My parents they were teachers, but they were those kind of parents that would always listen to you. So they were like, okay, you want to go back to Idwani, it's fine. You have admission in Nigerian Navy Secondary School. By the time you come back, you won't have it again. I said, no problem, I'll go to Idwani.
Wow. First
month in Idwani, and my depression had started. I was always feeling weak. It was just a horrible experience for me. And I remember a few years back when I saw some of the letters I wrote to my dad when I was in Idwani, and I was like, I must have had a traumatized childhood. Because, I mean, even reading the letters as an adult, I was crying.
Wow.
You know, and I don't know how. For a child, I must have been 13, 14. They say, Daddy, something is wrong with me. I don't know, but something is wrong with me. I just always felt something was wrong. And eventually, they brought me from Idwani because I was always falling ill. I was always sick. So they brought me back home, but by then the admission to Nigerian Navy Secondary School had gone off. Yeah. So I had to go to Ansaludin Girls High School. Now picture this, I was from that kind of family, the extended family. All my cousins were either in Federal Government College, Command Secondary School, Nigerian Navy Secondary School, and then you are in Ansaludin Girls High School. So first of all, my self-esteem went down. I was like the outcast. Nobody told me I was the outcast. I felt like a failure. You know, everybody else will go to school, to boarding school, because when we come home on holiday from boarding school, it's always like a big party. It's like everybody's back, but you didn't go anywhere. You didn't go anywhere. You go to school every day. You come to school every day. You're not special anymore. You know. And I started eating. I started comfort eating. And I started blowing up. And I started packing up the weight. And even in Ansaudin, I never really. I was everywhere. I was head of drama group, head of cultural group, head of choir, I was everywhere, but I was nowhere. You know, I was just that person that wanted to be everywhere, but I was using activity to cover up for my inadequacies. And I kept putting on that weight, and the more weight I put on, the more insecure I got. The more insecure I got, the more I ate. And by the time I finally left secondary school and I went to university, I had become that that defensive person. Because the first thing everybody said when they see you is, get on, Jay. And I mean, before 13, everybody else said, you're so skinny. You're so thin. See how tiny you are. See how thin you are. You're just tall, because I was tall, but very skinny. And that was what everybody else said. And so suddenly, the first thing they say is, So before you even say, I'm waiting for you. So before you even say, I'm like, what's wrong? You know, so I always had an answer for everything. I remember, I think it was I studied theater arts, and then I went back to study law in the same UI. And I remember in my final year theater arts, like 1 million people had told me, you have put on so much with that. So you know this picture wall we all have in school where you put your pictures, So people come to my room and they go, oh wow, look at you, look so pretty here, you look so pretty. How about you look fat here, you guys? So in the middle of the pictures, I wrote in capital letter, hi, these pictures are here for your entertainment, not for your comments.
Oh my God.
I am fat. I know. I have a mirror. I don't need you to tell me. You are ugly. There's nothing you can do about it.
All of this.
I wrote it in the middle like that. So, keep your opinion to yourself, or don't look at my pictures at all. And I left it there. So you see people come and they go, This is front of SUPRB. So it saved me a lot of complaints. So people kept their opinion to themselves. And somehow that was how I discovered the ability to talk back. I didn't even know I needed to talk back. And so I started talking back. And I realized that if I talk back, you just keep your opinion to yourself. I mean, I abused myself first. Before you say anything, I say, I'm fat, so what? So everybody, what else will you say now? You keep quiet. And then, I mean, also in that theater arts department, my brother was the MC of a group called the Fomania Organization. And it was a comedy slapstick group. And my brother had graduated and they needed an MC. And they came to me and said I should come and start anchoring it. And I was like, is there a script? They said, no. Will you tell me what to say? They said, no, you just talk from your head. Me, I don't know what to say. He said, don't worry, Shebi, Femi is your brother. They said, don't worry. That thing is in your family. You know, once you hold microphone and you're in front of people, you know what to say. I didn't know that it was possible, but I mean, I got on stage and I took the mic, and the first few people from my class I saw in the audience, I started yapping them. And one person from the audience just said something about my being fat, and that was it. I started talking about how it is more important to be big than to be skinny. It was like a debate. The whole hall was upside down. People were screaming, clapping, everything was. So I was like, oh yeah,
this is funny.
This is it. And so between then and graduating, I didn't really feel too bad about being big. I felt, you see, that's funny. It's a funny thing. I felt bad that I was big, but I accepted that there was nothing I could do about it. So in my head, this is me. This is how God created me. And the more I tried to lose weight, the more I gained the weight. So after I went, I was like,
I beg you.
I can't be bothered, you know. But then graduating and finishing law school, I think from law school, I started getting more depressed. And then
By the time I graduated, I started my comedy career. Comedy was a blessing. Comedy for me was an opportunity to just let go. And this is how you would know that I was in pain. Because if somebody else made fun about my weight, you become automatically my enemy. We can never be friends. You can't say, Lepacious is in the car, the tire is coming down. I blacklist you in my head straight. You are not my friend. But when I say it from my mouth, it's fine.
It's fine.
And the reason was because as at the time I got into comedy industry, a lot of people were cracking jokes about fat people. And I felt insulted. So somehow I felt if I take the power from them, if it's coming from me, I have taken the power from, they can't hurt me anymore. They can't hurt. And so I realized that even other fat people, when I am the one saying the jokes about being fat, like now I try to say fat jokes now, it's not easy anymore because it's almost like I'm insulting them because now I've lost weight. You understand?
Yes.
But then it was like, when I say fat jokes, it's like, she's our sister. She understands. You understand? Or like when a slim person is saying the same thing. So for me, it was like taking the power from them. And but if somebody else says it, I'm hurt.
But was that helpful though? Taking the power from them?
Taking the power from them was therapeutic. I knew there was a problem when I would perform after a few years, around 2013, 14, I would perform at events. I would have standing ovations. People will come greet me, tell me how fantastic, how much I made them laugh. And I would drive from the event to my house and I'm crying. And why I was crying, I would not know. And I would cry myself to sleep. And I would wake up and I would know I have a show. I know the jokes in my head. And I'm crying. And so that was when I knew there was a problem because comedy stopped being funny. It now became a job. It now became scary. Then I would never look at myself from my neck downwards. I always looked at myself from my face. You know, I just felt, okay, I have a pretty face, but I couldn't. So people were constantly doing stuff for me at events. Maybe I'm at a party, people were constantly trying to help me fix my bra or fix, because I never bothered. I would just wear the dress and I'm going. As long as the face was okay, I was fine. And it continued like that for a while. Then I noticed that I was not seeing my period for 2 years. And I went to see the doctor.
Sorry, like how much were you weighing at this time?
I was at my biggest at 210 kg. I was wearing a size 32. As at the time I was not seeing my period, I was about 180, 185. I wasn't seeing my period for like 2 years. And then, okay, let me not say 2 years because that's total.
Yes.
But let me say the first 3 months, I noticed my period didn't come. I wasn't sexually active, so I mean, I am not pregnant. What's going on? The 4th month, nothing. And you know, as a woman, you're not seeing your period. I beg, thank God.
Yes. You know, but
then it started getting funny. It started getting freaky.
Yes.
Because I am at an event. I remember in particular, it was a banker's dinner. I was the MC. I left the stage, came to my seat. I was wearing a big dress, thankfully. And I looked on the floor and there was blood. No pain, nothing. I was wearing undies. There was blood. Like when thick blood.
Yes.
And somebody beside me said, isn't that blood? And I said, no, it must be a drink. Because I couldn't believe it was blood. But something in my head said, Boss, just go to the restroom and check yourself. And there was blood. I had had a miscarriage kind of thing. And I was like, what's this? So I took tissues, wrapped myself up, and, finished the event. No pain, nothing. And then went home, changed, and believe me, after that particular incident, no blood again. So, okay, when you saw the blood, it was like, oh, I'm in my period. Okay, maybe that's why. Then no blood again, nothing again. For another, 1 month or 2 months. And then you are on the road, you are walking, blood. Then suddenly, no blood, like that. And then, so I went to see the doctor. I was sure I had fibroid. And then I went to see the doctor, and they tested me and they said, "This is amazing. You weigh this much and you don't have fibroid. It's amazing. It's weird. Most women have fibroid, especially when they are big like you." And we did all the tests, we did scans, we did this, we did that. Nobody could see what was it. Okay, the next thing I said is cancer. I have cancer. I know it has to be cancer because it didn't make any sense, you know. And so they had to place me on hormonal drugs, which is now what led to 2 years. You know? Now the hormonal drugs were supposed to reset my hormones, so that at least I can see my period at the right time. Now this was the crazy part. The hormonal drugs were making me bigger.
Yes.
Whether I ate or not.
Yes. Sort of.
And I began to dread my menstrual period because I don't know whether it's the drugs, but once the menstruation is coming, as in, if I just tell my parents on the phone, and they will say, "What's wrong with you? Why is your voice dull?" Like, "Daddy, I mean, my period is like," everybody just starts crying. They know that you are dying.
Really?
It was that bad.
Why is that?
Pain.
Okay.
The pain, I don't know whether it was because it was resetting something inside my body. I don't know what it was, but the pain was traumatic. And so it was always, should I use the hormonal drugs so that the period will come? Or should I not use it so that I don't go through the pain? It was always one decision or the other. But then I started becoming darker, black, like as it was almost like not having a regular period. It was as if there was dirt in your body, as if your body was not releasing the dirt that it should come. So I was black. I was literally. I look at myself I'm not joking. I look at myself in the mirror and I go, like I've seen a demon. I'm not joking. And so it started becoming more scary to even go out. Now, please don't forget that I'm an entertainer. My job is to entertain people, to look good and to dress well and to go and play. Now, I don't want to go out. I don't want to see people. I was always crying. I was always depressed. So I decided to take an holiday. And I went to Namibia. Also, I wanted to see what doctors outside
Nigeria.
And my brother, we're just 2 kids, and my brother lives in Namibia. So I went. And talking about my weight with my brother is not easy. Because my brother from day one saw it. From when I started putting on 1 kg. My brother has always been a fitness person, and he was always saying, hey, this weight thing, you know. So for him, I was irresponsible. I ate anyhow, I drank anyhow. And let me not lie to you, comfort eating. If you have people around you that do comfort eating, don't blame them. It's easy to say you can't control yourself and you say you're trying to lose weight. I would wake up at 2 a.m. in the morning to drink Coca-Cola. It was that bad.
And what was necessitating
you're not happy. You're not happy. You're not.
So that's like a let out.
Yeah, it's almost like you just hear a voice beside you say, "Boss, stand up, go and eat bread." That's literally like that. And I thought I was losing my mind. And trying to explain to people was difficult because everybody just looked at me like, will you translate it to people? You know, you don't have control. Because I remember there was a time my entire family was on diet with me. This kind, my father, my mother, they changed their menu so that everybody can lose, so that they can help me. I would buy biscuits and chocolates and Coke and hide it in my own wardrobe. And everybody else was eating. They were all eating wheat because of me. And that is why I tell people that until you are ready, nobody can be ready for you. You can't love anybody to weight loss. It is a choice they must make on their own. And I remember that I was sitting, that I couldn't talk to my brother about it because I knew he was going to tell me the same thing. My brother was an emotional bully. You know? My brother had done something like buy pizza and offered me around 9:30 years back. And I took it and I ate. And he allowed me to finish eating it. Then, about 30 minutes later, he sat me down and said, "So even if they are giving out free pizza to people on the road, you." I said, "But Femi, you gave me," he said, "Bank, you should collect it. I gave you and you should collect it. You didn't know in your head that saying no is the first step to victory. You did not know." You know, and I felt very bitter. I was angry with him. Now that I've lost weight, I get what he's saying. I
Yes.
understand. I knew he was telling me something, was teaching me something. And sometimes I would just call him from the blues and say, Femi, thank you. I'm sorry for all the times I didn't understand you and I hated you. But then it was not easy. I hated him because he was evil. What did he do? It was evil. So I was constantly on that. I never knew when my brother was offering me any, even till now. He said, boss, do you want a bottle of Coke? Should I say yes? Should I say yes?
Is he your older brother?
He's my older brother. He's just 2 years older than me. But he behaves like he's 30 years older than me. So I'm always like, okay, should I say yes? Should I say no? You know, that kind of thing. So, and I'm not joking. When my brother is coming to Nigeria, I empty my fridge, if you know what I mean. I go through my fridge and what should not be here? What should not be here? I empty everything. Now, because it was always on my case. So going to Namibia, and that was the top thing on my mind. It was difficult for me to explain. But I could tell his wife that, Nick, I'm not seeing my period. I'm worried. And she was like, okay, we'll go and see the doctor and blah, 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 blah. Then I was sleeping in the room. And my absolutely wonderful nephew came to me. And he said, Auntie Bose, are you okay? And I said, yes, I'm just sleeping. He said, but you're not sleeping deep. If you're sleeping deep, then you won't hear me. So you're just going into your sleep. I said, yes. He said, but you're breathing so heavy. It was just 10. So you're breathing so heavy, like your heart is about to stop. You're breathing heavy, like you can't breathe anymore. And I looked at him and I said, I'm fine. I'm just tired. And he hugged me. You know, I can't remember the last thing. He said something about don't die or something funny. I can just don't let your heart stop or something like that. And he left. And when he left, I entered the bedroom and I locked the door and I cried. I have cried a lot of times about my weight, but this time I cried because I didn't know what to do. I couldn't help myself. But I knew I needed help. And I knew I was done. And so we went to see the doctor. And the doctor asked me, if you don't lose weight in the next 2 years, what will happen? And I said, I'll be dead. I was clear. I was clear not because death would strike me, but I knew I would take my own life. Because I'd attempted it about twice. So I knew that I would take this life. I can't go on like this. And that was when I discovered that I had hypothyroidism, which means that your rate of metabolism is slower than everybody else. And so it's not that you're not trying to lose weight, it's that it's just not working.
Yeah.
And the more it's not working, the more depressed you get. And the more depressed you get, the more you cannot eat. And as if that was not enough, I had PCOS. Who gets the two? First of all, I knew I was having beard. Those are signs of PCOS. You have more masculine voice than everybody else. You have masculine traits. And that was when I realized that, oh, no wonder. Even as a naughty child, I never knew when people say, oh, they got pregnant and they aborted, I never even got pregnant. So I didn't even know that it was, I thought it was good. I didn't know that there was a problem. I thought, oh, it's because God knows that I'm not ready. I didn't know it was because there was a problem. And so you have PCOS, you have hypothyroidism, and you want to lose weight. And so we had to start with the doctor telling you, first of all, it's not going to happen in the next 3 years. So don't, because that was another thing. I was always trying to lose weight in 1 month, in 3 months. And so when it doesn't happen, I'll go back into depression.
And start eating again.
So we started the whole weight loss journey, and then there was for like 3 months, I was injecting myself with medication to reset my metabolism. There were drugs to take, there was stuff to do, and changing my food regimen. I was never a gym person. I hated the gym, so the doctor said, don't bother with that, because you will just stop. And once you stop, you give up. So we started with food, and then gradually the injections, the medications, and then the change in menu. But like I said, you just have to be ready. And then after I had lost about 80 kg, and I was feeling, yes, this is it, you're good. The hormones went crazy. Everything went crazy, and I suddenly fell ill. My electrolytes all crashed. And it was almost as if, I say this in a spiritual way. I don't want to sound too spiritual, but I say it in a spiritual. It was almost as if the devil felt you that we tied down. You think you can escape, so we are coming back, you know. And everything went crazy, and the doctors couldn't tell me what was wrong with me. I couldn't walk. I was always having spasms. I couldn't keep anything in my stomach. I was always throwing up. I was on drip. They hardly found my veins. At a point, they had to start giving me drip through my neck.
Wow.
And I was flown to South Africa. I remember traveling in the plane, and people didn't know who it was, because I looked like those Somalian people from, like this really, I really looked really dehydrated and really ill. And at a point, when they brought me back to Nigeria, it was so bad that at a point, doctors didn't allow even my parents to see me, because they were now thinking it's spiritual. So nobody should see you. Let's just be praying for you and treating you here. Because they couldn't trust anybody. Because Monday, I can just stand up like this and walk the whole hospital myself, and I'll be greeting everybody. And then by Tuesday morning, I passed out, as in gone, And I remember one day I looked at my dad, and I said to my dad, and I said, I'm tired. I'm tired. All I wanted to do was lose weight. I didn't know it was going to involve my life. And I'm glad I have lost the weight, but I'm done. I want to go. I just want to die peacefully. I'm done. I'm done trying. I'm done. I can't go on with this pain anymore. And I remember saying to my dad, is this what they say in your round video when they say, call out Teselebo, that kind of, because I didn't understand anymore. I just knew.
You were just tired.
The pain was bad. And my dad looked at me and said, Bose, don't you know? Don't you realize by now that if you die at 9 p.m., I would die at 10?
Oh my God.
I can't imagine a life without you. I have just 2 children. I am 79. And you think I can bury one of you?
Wow.
I can't. So wait.
Oh.
Just let me poison myself and die now, then you can die after. But I can't watch you die.
Wow. Wow.
And that was when I made up my mind. And for some reason, my brother sensed it and he called me. A result had come out and my brother said, Bose, I have news. I said, what? He said, Bose, you don't have cancer. Apparently, my brother had given the doctors money to do a cancer test without telling me, because they didn't want to panic me. And he said, Bose, it's not cancer. Whatever it is you're going through, it's not cancer. We can deal with it. No matter if it's not cancer, we can deal with it. So you have to heal from your mind first. I need your mind to stay alive. If you heal in your mind, then everything will be over. And I remember the next morning, and that was like an amazing year for me, because I had been nominated as an I keep forgetting this. AMPCA. What do they call it?
African Manji Viewers Choice Awards.
I had 2 awards. I can't remember PCOS. I had 2 nominations: Best Actress in a Movie and Best Supporting Actress in a Movie and Best Actress in a Comedy. It was supposed to be a good year. The award was going on that weekend. I was on the hospital bed. And while the award was going on, it hit me. Apart from Owen, nobody had said, where is she? Not even the people I was in their movie was looking for
From
me.
you.
Not even the people they nominated me in their movie. Not the people they nominated me with. And it hits me. Something is really wrong.
No.
And I remember in Lara, because permanently I had my laptop on and I was always playing messages. And I just remember that a song was playing and I just laid down on the floor. I am acknowledging you for who you are, for all you done in my life. And as I laid down there and I was just thinking, I didn't know the song. I'd never heard the song. I didn't know anything. I didn't even know the song. Who sang the song? I just heard, Onisha. Iyanu. And I just laid down there and I was like, I need you. I can't do this. I need you. And I think that was when I knew I was going to be well. That was when I knew I was going to be well, because the procedure that finally healed me is called endoscopy.
Yeah.
And I had done it twice in Nigeria. I'd done 3 times. I did once in South Africa and I did it twice here. Then we flew, a doctor, okay, we didn't fly him in. He was supposed to come and then from London, he came to Nigeria and we booked a session with him. And at the point when he was saying, why am I not seeing any opening in your stomach? Then he said, is that an opening? Is that an opening? Then he stopped. And that was it. And about 2 days later, I was back at home. And people who are sick will tell you that it takes a process to recover. I mean, you see someone that has been sick, someone that has been dying on the sick bed for 6 months. You see the person, you know that this person has been sick for a while. Me, by that, I was everywhere. I was talking. People came to the house and they were asking my dad, where is that your daughter that was sick? We came to greet her. He said, she's the one talking there. That's how dramatic it was. I have seen God. I have seen him move. And I tell people, you can be a Christian, you can be a Muslim, you can be an atheist, but weight loss without a supernatural being is almost impossible. And that's why you see Oyibo, even Oyibo people will tell you that they meditate.
Yes.
They will tell you that they do yoga.
Yes.
They will tell you that
there has to be
bigger, just something stronger than you, because you are not strong. You're not strong enough on your own. And I tell people that if you can lose weight and keep the weight off, you can become the president of any country, because it takes much more than just saying no to food. I have chosen to talk about the emotional side of my journey, because I believe that that's what this event is about. Exactly. I'm not talking about the right food to eat or the wrong food to eat. All that one you will find out later, because I believe that at that point when I prayed and cried in that room, in that bathroom in Namibia, I asked for help. That was the first time I actually asked for help. And when I asked him for help, he sent help. He sent help in form of doctors, in front of nutritionists. Because, I mean, I was 40 or thereabout, and I did not even know anything about PCOS or thyroid and all that. And all those things were in my body killing me, and I didn't know, So God sent help. He sent information. And so if you ask me today, what is the biggest weight loss secret you know? Is information. Because information will tell you what is wrong with you and what you need to do.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow. I don't even know what to say. Do you get, like, when you Google her, when you read her story, what comes up is, I was, this thing, and then I've lost the weight. Nobody knows the process. Nobody knew this part. That's why I'm much more concerned about the emotional, the psychological.
Yes, I forgot to tell you guys that I was 210 when I started. After the sickness, I was about 92. And that was when, my pictures were all over the place. The Lepacious Bose before and after, blah, 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 blah. And then after, of course, we're talking about thyroids. The weight came back, which was good for me because all the old drama and rumor about, she did surgery and everything died down. Now when they started seeing me putting on the weight again, and then, bam, I woke up one morning, I was 134 kg or thereabouts, 135 kg. And so it was a lot of work to start again. And this is what I tell people who are trying to lose weight. Every time you lose weight, try and keep it off, because if you don't, the devil will go to your neighbor's house and collect all the weight they lost, add them together to your own again. Okay. And so I was 135 kg again, and I had to start all over again. And behold, we're here.
Thank you so much. You get, so, as in, I feel like hugging all, let you hug the two of you together. As in, this, wow. See what people are dealing with. And then you will see somebody's picture on the internet, and then you're like, see her leg, see her head, see her arm, and see yourself. You should do not think that you should say no to food. Yeah. You don't know the deep story. You don't know the story behind it. You don't know what people are dealing with. You don't know what people are going through. Yeah. You understand? So, first of all, let me come back to you, because your story, I don't even know. I feel like I just faint in between both of you, or even three of you. Because this is a lot for one person. I knew you, and I knew how popular you were in church. I knew I was in the choir. I was smiling, praying, prophesying. You don't know what it means. When somebody who gives prophecy, who prays for people, they get healing, they get deliverance. And, she wants something, but she's not getting it, or she's going through a disappointment. Heal thyself. It's painful and traumatic. So when the news came that, she was getting married, everybody, all of us, in fact, we fixed meeting for, in case you don't know now, the people that had left church for years are like, you're coming for Stephanie's wedding, Abi. That thing I said you should bring for me, just bring it there. You must come now, we must come. So it was news. She put it on Facebook. So it was shared. Testimony, that like me, that I like to share those kind of stories. And then you now hear
that it is gone.
It is gone. Some people never come back from it.
No.
Some people never come back from it. Some people, that's the end. How did you come back? Because you are here now, back and better.
Back and better.
Yes.
When Deepa told me that we were going to be together, I was like,
what's the connection?
What's the connect? But if you observed the trauma that the three of us went through was about the same time. 2014.
Oh.
I observed that.
Wow.
Yes, because I kept saying, okay, Lord, I need to see something. I need to hear something. Yeah. And then she said 2013, 2014, 2015. She said the same thing. And then, of course, it was the same thing. So, one of the things God told me was that I was going to be very familiar with pain, because He was going to use me to heal pain. Healing is not theory. It's not theory. It's practical. I started praying for ladies as far back as 1996. And they were getting married like that. Yes. He would just tell me, gather a group of them. So I gather a group of ladies. I start praying. And one by one, they start getting married. And then that group disperses. And then
another set comes. And then you're still there.
Yes. Some of them, their children are married. Yes. So, and we're still waiting.
Amen.
So, on that Tuesday, my friend, Fumi, I was supposed to get dressed in her house. So, when she did see me, she started calling. I couldn't pick the call. Eventually, I was able to talk. And so she told me to come to her house. So I went to her house. And she kept me in her house. So she started monitoring me. Ibo Lelo, where are you going? She started close marking me, So I stayed with her. Few close people came to greet me and pray with me. And it was they were just blurry days. They were just very blurry days. You just sit and you're just looking. Like, okay, so what happened? Something was supposed to happen that didn't happen, And then I said to her that I wanted to go to the camp. So she said, camp. I said, yes, I need to go to the redemption camp. So I went to the camp. I think I went on a Monday. And then I was just in the room, so I'll be flipping the channels, In the redemption camp, all the channels are messages.
Yes.
So when you flip this one, the pastor is talking. You're looking like, what is he saying? Flip this one, he's talking again. Flip another one. When you are tired of hearing all those things, you just turn off the TV and you just be looking. I don't know if I slept really all through that time. So I cannot forget. It was just a few days to the Holy Ghost service for April 2015. And the theme was, touch me, O Lord. So my last day there was a Thursday. So on Wednesday, I slept and I saw myself fully dressed and I went to the altar and I lay down. So on Thursday morning, I got dressed. I had a bath, got dressed. I went to the altar and I lay down. And then I said, they told me that you specialize in raising dead people back to life. This person is a dead body that just came here. I see what they wrote here. They said, touch me, O Lord. I don't need Baba to touch me. I don't need any pastor to touch me. You have to touch me by yourself. Raise me back from the dead because I am dead.
Pain actually deadens people.
I am dead. So he started, it was like I was receiving injections, but he started speaking his word to me. Scriptures started coming, it was like I was being injected with life. Because of course the word of God is life.
Yes.
And with no iota of exaggeration. When he was done, I stood up from the floor and I danced my way out of that. Now, this is not the new, that's the old auditorium. So in the auditorium, you have pillars A to Z, then you have A1, B1. So it's very big. As I stood up from the floor, I stood up singing and I danced my way out of the auditorium, danced my way to my room, packed my bags, and came back to Lagos. That was it. That was it.
Hey. Wow.
So that Thursday was the week. That would be the week. Because 26th, that's like the week after. And then 1 week after that, I was back in circulation. Just going about
your normal business.
My life.
And so what people were asking questions when they see you, what did they say? How, what?
I heard a lot. I heard people said a lot. And I heard a lot of the things that people said.
But nobody had the guts to see you and
there are people who still didn't know what happened until last year or 2 years ago.
I didn't know what happened until you told me on the phone, 2 weeks ago.
So some people thought that the wedding, held. No, that the wedding held. They didn't know the story that it didn't hold. So some people answered last year. last year. Yes. See, asked me, how is your husband? And I said, oh, he's fine.
He's doing well. Abi, because your husband is actually fine.
Oh, he's fine. He's alive and well somewhere.
Yes, somewhere.
And we would meet soon.
Yes.
So, 2015, you see, because before every glory or triumph, there's shame. So in 2015, I experienced public shame. So fast forward to 2017.
Yeah.
So God took me to America, to one of the largest platforms in the world.
Yeah.
And I had the opportunity to sing.
Yes.
And someone recorded it and it got on Facebook and it just went viral.
Viral, yes. I saw that.
Because they saw me in church on Sunday and the next thing they saw me in America and it was all over the place.
It's a very large part.
So when you see people in the light, or limelight, you have no idea the price that they paid
To be there.
to be in that light. Be careful who you envy. Be careful who you want to be like. You know, some people come around me now and they say, they want to hug me, that I want to tap grace. And I smile.
You know, if you
And I
tap it,
smile.
you will not die. Yeah.
I said, be careful what you want to tap. It didn't come cheap. It never does. Jesus paid a heavy price to be the savior of the world.
You know, because, you know, we knew you as a comedian. I heard when I was searching that you're a lawyer, you know, so, and I'm sharing this now, I'm thinking this is another aspect. This is another assignment. This is another, you know, so, you know, what do you think of that? What do you see? What purpose do you see in that pain? For instance.
When Pastor Sarah was talking,
Please, can you?
when she was
Thank
talking and she was saying the connection, and I was just looking at her and I was laughing. There's more than that year as our connection. Because when you were talking about praying with ladies and then they all got married, I remember that was one of the first things that actually led to my deepest level of depression. Because I'm thinking everybody I've ever agreed in prayer with is married. Every single person, every single group, you know. After a while, I stopped because I was now looking like the failure. You know, I'll gather two people together. They are married. Then they will now even invite me to naming and all that. I'll be the one that will plan everything, you know. So I get that. And I remember the first place I met you was in a place of pain. We had lost an amazing man of God. And we were all supposed to be crying because he was a wonderful man and he died too young. But we're all laughing and we're gisting and she was always smiling. And so I remember saying something to her to the effect of, like, she's a happy person or something about not knowing pain or something like that. And she told me, she said this thing. And no, it was pastor's wife that told me about and I asked her, I said, and you are here. You are sitting, you are normal, and you are smiling. And you are smiling. Me? If by now people would have said, don't talk to a woman, come around. You understand? And so that's why I said there's more connection. Because I am at the age you were when you met that man. The age you were when you met the man you were going to marry. And you believed. But I have given up. I have even stopped thinking about marriage. It's not even in my agenda. I'm a happy single woman, we thank God. You know? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so your story is a blessing to me. If you could believe at that age, why can't I? So
I'll be 54.
Yeah.
I'll be 54 in 2 weeks' time.
You see what I'm saying?
And I'm
so
going to get married
she
this
thinks
year.
that she brought us here. She thinks she brought us here. She thinks she brought us here to tell people how to heal, but I'm healing. Because if you're 54 and you can still believe, why would I not believe at 24? And look at my dear Maryann talking about blood, and I kept talking about blood in my process. I kept talking about blood because I know I have had my experience with blood. So there's a connection. There's
My
a
own
spiritual
bleeding,
connect.
my own bleeding was not
Yeah,
physical, but
it
I
was a
bled.
bleeding.
Yes, it was
You
a
know,
bleeding.
so I look at you and God bless you for what you do. I don't know where it's going.
Amen.
I don't know how it's going to happen, but I know there's a purpose. And the purpose will be fulfilled.
Amen. How did you come back? Because I see this burst of energy now, this excitement, always dancing. You know, you're married, you got married last year, you had a baby last year. Now I see you are on a movie set, you know, like, these days, by the way, let's just, in fact, like, you don't know how much you've inspired amputees. Because after you posted the video that we went to do on channels, I had a lot of DMs from amputees because apparently I went with her to Channels TV, you know, on Rubbing Minds, which was another experience that it was supposed to be with somebody else, but you know, she couldn't make it. So Maryann, and amputees are DMing me. Please post me like Maryann. Help me like Maryann. I'm like, Jesus. No, I'm just doing how they is. You know, so I'm seeing the connection. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm saying you don't know, you know, everybody's here. You know, you don't go through, look at what she said, you don't heal completely until you look at why I'm here. You know, my story. You know, I had a child at 19, 14 heartbreaks, 15 abortions, got married, got divorced. Look, do you get like the pain, the shame, you know, and look at what is happening here today. You guys don't know.
It's so funny. You are crying from divorce. She never did. And she will be thanking God. He never did.
Me, I will say, I wish you were. Do you get? And Maryann is like, I thought I didn't go through all that. Now it's just hard. I beg you. Do you get? So how did you come back? How did you, you know, have this burst of energy? Like now you're living life. You know, we are looking up to you. People are excited for you, and you know, found that she's interested in that story. How did you find the man who loves you?
If she and amputee can get married, what is wrong with me? Oh?
See hope.
So you see another connection.
I was traumatized. Forget the whole happy side you see.
Yes.
There are times that I would just be crying.
Yes.
Because at the time I was tired. I wanted it all to stop. Like, you know, year after year, I spent months in the hospital and I just wanted it all to stop. I want to go home. Like, sometimes I'll be asking my mommy, when will this thing stop? I'll be like, let's keep going. And I felt like like the witch in my house. Because of me, my parents kept on, everybody just keep running up and down, let's look for money. Okay, when it's time for surgery, everybody will be in the hospital, they'll be sleeping on the floor. I felt really bad. So one time I tried to take rat poison. Yes, I tried it. And that I actually sent my mom to go and get it. I was in the hospital then. And I was like, I just said to myself that I just told my mom that there was one rat here, that we should kill that rat, that she should go and get rat poison. So my mom now, she knows someone that's sick now. She's like, okay, so she quickly went. So it was when she came back, one lady now, probably, I don't know, maybe she noticed that was what I was going to do because I wanted to mix it with my tea. I don't think there are so many things I've never really shared. So the lady was now like, she now called my mommy aside. She told my mom that you saw that this girl, they just did her surgery and you know that she'll be feeling bad. She now asked you to go and get rat poison. You went. My mom was not like, so that was when she now calculated and she now started begging me. She was now crying. So I was now telling her that I was tired. I wanted it all to stop. Okay, so when we left the hospital, everything became, you know, even when you come back from I think you came back and you were fine.
Relief.
So you came back with another case entirely. So I got really tired. But at one time, I just told myself, one day all this will stop. It's either I die or it leaves me. That was what I told myself. So I just picked up and naturally, I'm a happy person. Aside, I'm a naturally happy person. Like when I'm with my friends, we cry.
Yeah, your temperament is maybe sanguine, the happy people.
We laugh, and even I even make fun of myself. Say, no, so I get one hand, help me. No, I still,
Yeah.
I still. So I just told myself that I could not keep, because at the time I started shrinking. When I'm walking, I was thinking. When I'm walking, I would just be talking to myself. I was thinking. But I didn't know that was what I was doing. It was when one man called me and was like, I've been seeing you. I know you're not feeling fine, but at least come out of it. Try and shake up yourself. So after my surgery in India, when I came back home and I came back with full force, I was just managing, because I didn't just go for amputation at once.
Yes.
I managed for like a year. So I was just managing, because I kept on rapping, I kept on concealing the truth. When they asked me, this your hand never go, I'm like, because somehow now for so many years you've been seeing me with bandage, and people like, this thing never go. I felt bad when people ask me that question. So, and concerning how I met my husband, I would say my husband actually added to my confidence. Yes, he added to it, because that feeling that nobody is going to accept you. And at the same time, I had like heartbreaks along the line. I almost got married to someone I thank God I never married. Because Adibin, I married him during the relationship, during the courtship. He was a pastor, a youth pastor. So he was trying to change me.
No, there's something about church people that we started in the morning, like church men or pastor hair.
He was trying to change me. Somebody trying to change you from what you're not. He was trying to shield me. And I'm just very. I wanted to be let loose, but he was like, I can't marry if you're going to be a mommy Gio. So I started pretending to be what I'm not. So there's so many things concerning that relationship. He had a child. He was actually married, and I didn't, so many things. So all those things added to my depression. So when I met my husband, it wasn't for a relationship, because later I was like, I didn't even want any marriage or also. I just want to be fine. I put all the energy towards my own self. So when I met him, it wasn't for a relationship. I hope he's not hearing this. I was actually using him.
Outside.
I was actually using him. I'm sorry to say this, because he would come to my house, he would wash. I was like, this one, they wash clothes for me. I would take, go and buy this one, go and do this one. So my parents were like, this guy really nice. Those man, street guy, man, just a phone and talk. But there's somebody for everyone.
Yes.
At a time, I started looking at. He was still doing what he was doing. We were not dating. So it was just like a friend. But he was very cool, very calm. He was just like, he was always pampering me, and I'm like, so I was not comfortable with the whole thing. So I had to just tell him that I have somebody I want to get married to. I'm like, no problem. It's not pressuring me for marriage or anything else. So it was just a friend. But after a while, later I now saw the whole him. I allowed myself. I calmed down, because I had this shield around me because of what I've experienced.
Yes,
I had this shield.
you have a wall.
I was very
That's what our pain does to us.
Later I now allowed him, and I saw a different side of love. So it now made me have this confidence in myself that because he saw me when I was in this pain, and if somebody like this can love me despite the whole thing, then
who am I not to love myself?
Who am I not to love myself?
Oh my God!
That's why I said it added to my confidence.
Yes.
I was already, but I needed a push, a very big push. So he pushed me, and I actually needed it. And now it was not like I now found myself. I now found myself.
No, have you forgotten that quote that says when a woman is loved properly, she comes out in her full glory? Wow.
So that was how.
Thank you. I don't even want to keep us more, because, we are still going somewhere after this. But you guys don't know what this has done for me. I almost canceled how many times this program. I almost, because I'm like, this is bigger than what I'm thinking. Me, I just want to do small program that we do and just go, and look at what this has done. Look at what this has turned out to be, and I'm so honored. And I feel so privileged to be, because sometimes when they say you go through pain, it's for other people. When God gives you a purpose, when God gives you a vision, it's not about you, it's bigger than you. You're just a vessel for that vision, for that purpose. I know this video is going to go out a lot, apart from all the people that are here. You don't know how many people it will touch. I am moved by all I have heard today, and these three of you combined. In fact, your own story, I don't know. I'm suppressing it. When I get home, I'll go and think about it. How did she start? Okay, from here. Then your own. Let me tell you more. I don't even know when. And then Maryann, I've heard it, but this is an elaborate version. We like the once I was blind, now I'm healed. But there's a lot of process in between, and I feel privileged. I'm the one hearing it or bringing out to life. So first of all, let us just thank these people. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Wow.